Welcome back. It is Wake Up Woodward. We got a packed house, and you know what, man? We got to add somebody else to it. That is one Carlton Davis, and I think he's trying to get me fired up, bro. This is already a player that I believe the entire Woo crew would love to see back here, especially if it works out favorably for them. And with the cap space going up, I don't see why not. Carlton Davis was one of those shot callers. He was one of those guys. When we talk about, man, look at Dan Campbell going out there and calling it, and Brad Holmes calling it, and then knocking out the park. Carlton Davis is one of those types of defensive players. So I'm fired up pretty much anytime I get to see him play football or gas up our head coach.
And JB, if you've got that video, go ahead and play it. And by the way, I got that one from Easy's Twitter. Even so, shout out Easy. And we also posted it on our Woodward Sports socials as well. But this is Carlton Davis talking about Dan Campbell.
How often do you talk to the head coach?
Like Dan, bro, it's different for different head coaches, bro. Like, but Dan, he the type to talk to you damn near every day, like at practice, and just walking through the lock. Like, bro, he literally sat me down. Like, bro, he done did this a couple times where during the season, like, I had a good game. He'll come to me like, boy, you playing your ass off. Like, he'll just say that to you, like, after the game, like, boy, he was like, you more than just a cover corner. You physical too. And he'll say it in front of the whole team, like. He'll praise you in front of the whole team. That's the first time a coach ever did that. You know what I'm saying? And not just for me, but just for other players. Like, and he highlighting, like, this guy's going crazy. Like, St. Brown blocking. Like, St. Brown blocked the shit out somebody, but that's something that'll go under the water, you know what I'm saying? Because everybody ain't glorifying that. But he glorifying that in the team. He like, this is what I'm talking about. And he, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, like, when you doing shit, he watch everything, but he also gonna give you your flowers too. A lot of coaches, but they don't do that.
They just expect you to do your job.
Yeah. They think that shit don't matter. We're grown. Like we don't need no like pat on the back. Like what? We want to hear that.
He do that shit because he played, bro.
Yes,
like,
bro. But a lot of coaches play. Like, you play tight end.
That's another thing. A lot of coaches play.
A lot of coaches play and they still
be ignorant though. Right. They be having like this.
Because that's how they were coached though. That's how they was coached. You know what I mean? They be acting all like, bro, relax.
That vendetta still on them.
You know what I'm saying?
Bro. I bet you on him, bro. He a real one, bro. Like, bro, I got so many stories I could tell you, bro. Like, of him just being a real one, bro. Like. Yeah. Like, he'll call you out too, but on some shit like you hurting the team, bro. Like, what's up? Yeah. And he ain't never gonna bash you, bro. He'll never bash you, bro.
I'm gonna what we doing?
He just make you feel like you feel me. I gotta get my shit together for everybody else. You know what I'm saying? He ain't gonna like make you feel like shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, bro. He a real one, bro. Like he my favorite head coach, bro. I ain't gonna lie, that I done played for, bro.
That's a lot.
That's why I was out there trying to break my jaw for that nigga, bro.
Nah, he definitely.
I will break my jaw for Dan Campbell too. I'm fired up all the way, man. Hey, JB, that's 5 flames of fired up right there out of a scale of 1 to 5. Like, goodness gracious. And you know what? When you look back at those old, like New Orleans Saints teams with Sean Payton, it just felt like they were having fun and playing effing football. And you heard them say something unique. They're like, bro, all of these coaches is former players. And it was like, yeah, but how were they coached? And when you kind of look at the path that Dan Campbell took to become a player, to becoming a head coach, and you look at the path he took as a player, he's had some dark days. I'm sure he knew. He's one of those guys that, whether you're motivating him or not, he's giving you 100%. But he still is not aloof to the effect that it can have on these players. And we've heard now really good players like Zadarius Smith and Carlton Davis, who have played on multiple teams in this league, come to this organization and say, Dan Campbell does it right, period. And it's just such a crazy contrast to what everybody was trying to say about Dan Campbell at press conference 1. But all you keep hearing from the players in this league is that Dan Campbell is a real one. Word to Eduardo O'Neal.
Gotta love it. And I think the most telling thing about these Carlton Davis comments is this is a guy in Carlton Davis. It's not like he's played for bum-ass organizations with bum-ass coaches throughout his career. He was on a Super Bowl winning team in Tampa Bay in 2020. Not only was he on the team, he led the team in interceptions. He was 3rd on the team in postseason tackles. He was a major contributor. And Bruce Arians, damn good coach. Won a Super Bowl with Tampa Bay, took Arizona to the NFC Championship before he became Tampa Bay's head coach. And Carlton Davis is basically saying, I like Dan Campbell better. So it's a testament to Dan Campbell, the job that he's done, his ability to relate to players. You can tell that he's a player's coach, but it's good to see Carlton Davis affirm that in this with these comments. And I hope that it makes it more likely that Carlton Davis is brought back here with the Detroit Lions, because I think that it's something, especially with the cap space going up, that is essential for this team, because he had the best season of his life last year. He was damn good. And not only was he damn good, but you felt his absence when he was out, unfortunately, with that broken jaw, like the end of the Bills game, the 49ers game, the Commanders game, even both Bears games. You felt his absence. So you want this man back here. And oh, by the way, before I pass it back, according to SpotTrack, his estimated market value, $14 million per year. Pick.
I'm about to say, that's five picks out of 5?
Carlton Davis at $14 million a year. I will go 4 picks out of 5, because if you have slight injury concerns, I don't blame you. But I personally would do it.
I got you. And you know what? Is this the most? Is this the closest to Malik Beasley that we've seen another player say, "Please, I don't want to go anywhere, Detroit. I love you guys." Wow, how the tables turn, man. Like, there was a time when people said players don't want to be in Detroit. And now we're seeing players from other organizations, players that have won big with other organizations, saying, I just want to be here, bro. I was in multiple teams.
Yeah.
That's wild. Can you imagine a player of Malik Beasley's caliber just last year saying, please don't trade me, Detroit? Yeah. It's an awesome time in Detroit sports right now.
And I've said it before about certain players, and I'll reiterate it about Carlton Davis if I haven't already said it before. This, of course, I'm not making excuses. I don't want to play the what-if game, because what's done is done. But Carlton Davis himself, I can almost guarantee, even though I obviously don't know him, that he believes that if he would have played in that Commanders game, that he would have made a difference. Maybe he would have been able to hold down De'Ami Brown and Terry McLaurin a little bit more, and it would have made a difference. I'm not trying to say that if Carlton Davis plays, the Lions for sure win, but Carlton Davis is going to come back next year if he is a Detroit Lion, or if he's with someone else, but hopefully with a Detroit Lion, with a fear and a hunger that I think is going to be even greater than last year. And he had something to prove last year as well, and he balled out. And I think if he comes back to the Lions, especially if the pass rush is a little bit better and healthier, man, Carlton Davis could be a borderline Pro Bowler for the Lions next year. I really believe that.
I really hope he comes back, and it's awesome to see how these players, some of them are getting a boost coming here and playing for the Detroit Lions underneath Dan Campbell. To see Carlton Davis have the type of year he did, and to be able to be depended on that way, like you said, the real only concern is just injury, and that's why if it's the jaw, I'm okay with that. I know he had a little bit of a hand injury, but if it's not like ankle, knee, or something of that nature that can affect how fast he can run and how well we saw him effectively running a route sometimes for the receiver, then I'm all good with bringing him back. I appreciate the 4 out of 5 that Mitten made. Yeah. He's hoping that with that salary cap bump that they do bring back Carlton Davis and Kevin Zeitler.
Yeah, you can do it. That's the best part. You can do that. You can get them both back. And Kevin Zeitler's estimated market value, according to SpotTrack, is $9 million. And if you can give him 1 year for $9 million, I don't mind that. Give Carlton Davis maybe 3 for $42 million. I don't mind that. You still have an opportunity to maybe make that splash trade for a Myles Garrett, or even go after a guy like Khalil Mack or DeMarcus Lawrence, Josh Sweat, just throwing out names if you want. Milton Williams, just throwing out names. You can do pretty much anything you want. Maybe re-sign Kirby, Aiden, J-Mo, who knows? I'm not saying you could do all of those things, but you can do more than you think. You can re-sign some of your own guys, plus give extensions to guys who've earned it, plus make another, like a splash signing or trade, because once the salary cap kicks in, the extra salary cap, the Lions will have up to $80 million in cap space. Right now they have 55.
Dad, what up, though, KG?
We talked about yesterday just how good Brad Holmes is with the pocketbook. So I think them getting this additional, $20-some-odd million, I think that definitely opens the door for a CD3 return, because everything that he brought to you, just being a leader in that locker room, being able to help TA develop into the corner that he was, I think they're a really good combo together. I would like to see another year of that, of them sharing the field together, and just Carlton Davis has been everything we've wanted him to be, and he's still on the younger side of his career. He's not even 30 yet, so I think that's a good investment. $9 million, I don't think that's too much for what he brought to you this past season.
Tommy K. Sam said he'd resign J-Mo?
Oh, I'm not even saying that that's necessarily what I want. I'm just saying that the possibility is open to you. And I know it's been a conversation at this network that maybe you re-sign him quicker before he potentially plays a full season, maybe has another 1,000-yard season in which it's closer to 1,300 or 1,400, then he's going to command a big bag. I mean, the reality is with J-Mo, I'm open to almost anything because he gave me the 1,000-yard season that I so desperately wanted and got his jersey for. So I'm cool with it.
Vincent,
I'm cool with it.
Sam is slowly turning into a J-Mo fan.
1,000 yards will do that to you, man. It just will.
And you know what? It's the 1,000 yards, knowing that he missed a couple games,
Yeah.
and knowing that there's still some ceiling for improvement for J-Mo. Hey, so I put you on the spot a little bit. You know, Carlton Davis and what he's saying about Dan Campbell, any of the conversation, as well as Jamison Williams. But Dan Campbell, this coach, I know you got an opportunity to be around some of these players. How much do you hear them talk about the culture or Dan Campbell?
Yeah, Dan Campbell is definitely the identity of this team, and players love playing for him. And I definitely think that they need to re-sign Carlton Davis before his season-ending injury. I mean, he was a game changer. So 100%, they definitely need to re-sign him, and I hope it happens.
I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I know that he was your best cover corner overall throughout the season by a pretty wide margin. But when you really look at certain, as Summer said, game changers, you don't win that Houston game without Carlton Davis making a couple of huge interceptions, including that one in the end zone where it looked like Tank Dell was running wide open. C.J. Stroud's a little lackadaisical. And then who flashes into the picture to get the pick? Carlton Davis. And you're like, where the F did he come from? That's just one of those big-time players make big-time plays in big-time moments. And, hey, he's used to big games. He's won a Super Bowl before, and he made a big play in that game. But he made a lot of big plays and was great in coverage almost every game he played, though.
And I'm hoping that desire to be here somehow makes its way to Myles Garrett, because the Detroit Lions, they're not disappointing the people that they're bringing here. You've heard Zadarius Smith talk about it. You heard DJ Reader talk about it. You heard Carlton Davis talk about it. These players want to be here. This is a crazy trend when we talk about even the Pistons and their vets that they brought here. All of them want to be here. Dennis Schroeder wanted to be here.
Yeah.
He's like literally high school friends with Malik Beasley. So it's just like, this is such a weird time, because even when the Pistons were good in the early 2000s to mid 2000s, you still didn't have players that wanted to be here, which was crazy. They won a championship and people still didn't want to be here. So the fact that you're hearing good players now talk about across a plethora of our sports teams saying, yo, we want to be there. Like Jack Flaherty, still, when he even got traded, was still tweeting out stuff that was like, you could tell I'm looking over the wall at you guys, and then comes back in offseason.
Man,
like, bro, he was in paradise, right? I guess Detroit was a little bit more of it for him.
That's what's crazy, is because Jack Flaherty won a World Series.
That's crazy.
I mean, he got everything he wanted. I could not be happier for Jack Flaherty, and I'm happy that he's a part of the Detroit Tigers. But you know what else I'm happy about? That there are big games at Chrysler Center. Games against, Michigan's hated rival, who JB supports, MSU, that could decide a Big Ten championship. Hey,
go blue.
You can keep thinking that. Keep thinking
and we're gonna preview the game when we come back, because, man, Chrysler Center is going to be alive and rocking, and it's great to see me as a Michigan fan have a college basketball team, and even as somebody who wants MSU to go 0-30 every single year, that rivalry is electric when they're both good, and even I can acknowledge that. But first,